This is Mr. Dietrich here to explain current events to students, teachers, and parents. Preemptive pardons. Blanket pardons. Are they legal? TLDR? Yes. But please stick around and I'll tell you the history of it. So we know President Biden pardoned his son for crimes that he committed. What about crimes that haven't been committed or haven't been charged yet? The possibility of Anthony Fauci being charged, the possibility of Liz Cheney having charges brought against her. You can't pardon someone for something they haven't been. Yes, you can. We'll go over the court case that allows the president to give a blanket pardon, anytime pardon. Once the pardon's in place, basically anything you've done, it's wiped clean. Clean slate, well, that doesn't really, here, this one's better. Clean slate, wiped free, anything that Fauci did in the 80s, 90s, COVID, during the AIDS crisis, gone. Can't charge him with. Blanket pardon covers everything. It's completely allowed to do that. Why? Well, it's what the Supreme Court ruled while they were reading and interpreting the Constitution. So it all goes back to 1866, Ex Parte Garland. And this Supreme Court ruling pretty much guarantees anytime pardon, blanket pardons. When the president says you are innocent, that's it. Can't charge me, can't do anything, can't touch me. Da-na-na-na. Now, if you commit another crime in the future, of course, yeah, you're going to be responsible for that. But anything you've done, if you got a pardon, you're good. Clean slate. So here's how it works. Garland was a lawyer, joins the Confederacy. After the war, he receives a pardon from Southern sympathizer Andrew Johnson. Gets the pardon. Cool. All right, I've been pardoned. Want to be a lawyer again. Well, in 1865, the radical Republican Congress passed a law that said if you want to participate back in our federal government, you got to take a loyalty oath. Part of that oath is saying that you never joined the Confederacy. You never did any crimes with the Confederacy. Well, he can't really do that because he did do that, but Garland will argue I was pardoned for all those things. So I never really joined the Confederacy, or yes, you did. You need to take the oath. You can't take the oath, you can't have a job. So goes to court, and the court looks it over, examines the case, examines the Constitution and the rules written in terms of pardons and clemency, and the court ultimately rules he's good. He's been pardoned. He's been forgiven. And basically the way that this works, with the power being an anytime blanket pardon, which is also part of the ruling, they decide that, look, if you're pardoned, you're pardoned. Doesn't matter about the order of events, sequence of events, whether you've been charged yet or not. A pardon's a pardon. You're forgiven. Basically, folks, here's how it works. It's like it never happened. It's a clean slate. Never happened. You were never in the Confederacy. All those crimes that you may or may not have committed, doesn't matter. It's a completely new, fresh start for you. And so with your new, fresh start, you can get your job. Also, furthermore, the court ruled that the oath that they were requiring him to take, that was a punishment based on his past actions. And you can't punish someone based on something they've been forgiven for, so you can't do these loyalty oaths. You can't make them promise they never did anything bad or punish them for doing something they didn't technically commit. So the oaths get thrown out, blanket pardon takes place, and there we have it. Anytime blanket pardons based on the interpretation of the Constitution in 1866. So there it is. Now, the bigger picture issue is, does this mean we're going to start raining down pardons? Has a precedent been set by the president? If Fauci and Cheney receive these, is Trump going to follow suit, and every leader therefore and thus far going to pardon people? Is it basically, do whatever you want, folks? We're just going to hand out pardons. Don't worry about violating the Constitution, committing any crimes, because we're just going to throw out pardons. Everyone, you get a pardon, they get a pardon, everyone gets a pardon, regardless of whether you've been charged, regardless of the sequence of events. You'll be forgiven for everything. That's kind of scary and frightening. So we'll see what happens if Fauci and Cheney receive their pardons and the precedent is set. But long story short, Ex Parte Garland pretty much says that a pardon is a complete erasure, whether you've been charged with anything specific or not. Thanks for joining me.